What's good, guys? This is UFC Fight Night, Lewis versus Nascimento. We're going to be breaking down the entire card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event. This is a pretty stacked fight night. We got Joaquin Buckley on it. We got a bunch of people on it. Rosebola versus Buckley is going to be banger. Carlos Urberg versus Aleza Mendefield. Mateus Rebecki versus Diego Ferreira. Alexis Harris versus Shane Woodson. It's going to be a stacked card, bro. It's going to be a stacked card. Let's start off with the first fight of the night. JJ Aldrich versus Veronica Hardy. Like Adam No Jumper. Alright. JJ Aldrich versus Veronica Hardy. Veronica Hardy changed her last name to Hardy when she married Dan Hardy, who was a former UFC contender, and he now works for the PFL commentary. He has a great mind. Veronica Hardy is 3-2 in her last 5. Her opponent JJ Aldrich is also 3 wins and 2 losses in her last 5. Her opponent JJ Aldrich has a record of 13-6-0. Veronica Hardy has a record of 18-4-1. Minus 135 for Veronica Hardy, plus 115 for JJ Aldrich. Aldrich is 31, Hardy 28. Flyweight division 5'5 versus 5'4, 67-inch reach for Aldrich, 64 for Veronica Hardy. I'm going to be going Veronica Hardy just because of who's in her corner. Dan Hardy, one of the greatest minds of MMA. Dan Hardy was on the MMA Hour today, and he gave good insight of what he wants Veronica Hardy to do and where they are in their career, and they're taking a slow but upwards trajectory. So give me Veronica Hardy by decision, 29-28, maybe 30-27. I think Veronica Hardy can be a problem for the flyweight division. Next fight, we got Jared Gooden versus Kevin Josette. We have Jared Gooden, who has a record of 3-2 in his last 5. His record in all is 23-9-0. Kevin Josette is a prospect in the welterweight division, who is 10-2-0, won his last 5 against Kenan Song, Crosby, Campbell, and Hex. So he has 2 fights in the UFC. This is going to be his 3rd fight in the UFC. He's a minus 225 favorite. His opponent is a plus 185 underdog for Gooden. 30 years old for Gooden, 31 for Josette. Welterweight, 6'0 for Gooden and 6'2 for Josette. 77-75. Give me Kevin Josette by decision. Tapology. I didn't see the tapology for the other one, but I have Veronica Hardy. I just think that she's going to wipe through JJ Aldrich. Give me Kevin Josette by decision. 77% of Tapology is going with Josette by decision. A lot of people think he can KO Gooden, but Gooden has a chin. And 95% of Gooden's fights go to decision. Other than his last one, where he submitted Wellington Turman. But give me Kevin Josette to win by decision, maybe even a KO. Then the next fight, we have Jake Hadley versus Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson had a great performance against Azat Maksum, who was 15-0. He was a prospect, and he gave him his first loss. So Charles Johnson is a guy who is still in the works for contendership in the flyweight division. He's a guy who is very tricky, and his fights are very, very tricky. I'm going to be taking the over 1.5 because I don't like this. I don't like how this fight ends, where it's too dicey. Like it's going to end weird, and I have no idea who's going to win this fight. It's one of those fights where Charles Johnson, it depends on how he performs and who shows up for Charles Johnson. Because he showed up to fight against Azat, bro. That guy was an undefeated prospect, wrestling heavy, and Charles Johnson was able to beat him. And it's crazy because Charles Johnson was coming off of a 3-loss skid from Ode Osborne, Cody Durden, and Rafael, all by decision. And it feels like he's coming into his own. So if there's a dog that can win, it's Charles Johnson. But we have Jake Hadley with a record of 10-2-0. He has lost his last one to Cody Durden. He lost 2 and won 3 in his last 5. And same thing for Johnson. Johnson has won 2 on the opposite and lost 3. So it's kind of a mismatch. Minus 170 for Hadley and plus 145 for Johnson. Give me Johnson for now. But Friday, let me see what Tapology has. I don't like to look at Tapology because sometimes it influences your picks. 5'7" and 5'9", 70-70. Flyweight division is stacked. We saw with Steve Erceg and Pantoja that anybody within the top 15 can become champ in the flyweight division. Even though sometimes it could be a little shallow, but a guy like Erceg is putting the division on notice. And guys like Charles Johnson and Jake Hadley. A lot of people are going Hadley by decision. Give me Charles Johnson for this one. I might make a pick flip on Friday, but I got Charles Johnson. I know Hadley's very, very good. He's better than him all around. But a guy who just makes things work is a guy like Charles Johnson. So for now, give me the over 1.5, but I'll take Charles Johnson for now, the dog. Then we have Trey Waters versus Billy Golf. This is another fight where it's a pick 'em. Not the odds are pick 'em, but anybody can win this fight because we don't know as much. Obviously, if you watch their tape footage outside of the UFC, you can watch Contender Series as well. These guys are fairly new to the UFC. This guy was just in LFA, and he lost to Gabriel Bonfim by a submission choke. That's his only loss in his last five, and his opponent Billy Goff has a clean 5-0 in his last five, but he has a record of 9-2. So minus 160 for Trey Waters. Trey Waters' chin is very questionable. That's the only thing. But Billy Goff is very good as well. He's plus 135. 25 years old to 29. 29 years old for Trey Waters, so maybe the experience can give him the upper hand because 25 years old is really young for Billy Goff. Welterweight division, 6'5 to 5'10, 77-inch reach to 72. A lot of people have, I mean, look, he has the longer reach, but I'm going to go Billy Goff. I'm going with another underdog. Give me Billy Goff just because Trey Waters' chin is questionable, and I like what typology he's looking at. A lot of people think that Billy Goff is going to win by KO, but I think this goes the distance. And I think Billy Goff can win by a 29-28, maybe split decision. Trey Waters, after he drops him. I think Billy Goff can drop him, but I don't know if he finishes him. Give me Billy Goff for that one. Next fight we have Tabitha Ricci versus Teisha Torres. Tabitha Ricci is a dog. She lost her last fight. She's won her last four and lost her last fight against Lupita Godinez. It was a split decision. Very, very close fight. This was 5 months and 3 weeks ago, which is actually crazy because it felt like a year ago. Then Teisha Torres, who hasn't fought, or should I say Teisha Pennington, who married Raquel Pennington, the bantamweight champion. She lost to Mackenzie Dern by split decision. Arguably, she could have won that, but I think she lost that fight. And then before that, she beat Angela Hill, Sam Hughes, Brianna Fortino, and she lost to Marina Rodriguez. Teisha Torres is a girl who comes up to fight, but I think a girl like Tabitha Ricci, let's say it how it is. Tabitha Ricci is on gear. If we're gonna be honest, bro, she's jacked as fuck, bro. She looks like she's on fucking gear, bro. She looks like she's on some like EPO steroids, bro. We have 29 years old for Tabitha Ricci, 35, 34, 8 months, 3 weeks, and 4 days. Basically 35 for Tabitha Ricci. Strawweight division, 5'1", 5'1", 61, 61. Give me Tabitha Ricci to win by decision. I think she's going to grapple Teisha Torres, hold her down. Teisha Torres is a girl who has great takedown defense, but she has been inactive. I don't know what she's been doing for the past 2 years, maybe past 3 years. Like, she's been very inactive. She got married, so we don't know where she is in her MMA career. But give me Tabitha Ricci, the active girl, the more of a prospect. I see Tabitha Ricci, breaking into the top 5 of strawweight division eventually. Maybe that's a reach, but give me Tabitha Ricci by decision. And I think it could be very clear, like 29-28 or 30-27. I don't see Teisha Torres winning more than a one round. Then this is still on the prelims. Terrence McKinney versus Esteban Ribovics. This is going to be a banger. You know this fight doesn't go the distance. That other fight, you can probably put the over 2.5, but that's probably minus 400. So you can maybe find like some juice with Tabitha Ricci by decision. But you could do a double chance on that. Terrence McKinney versus Esteban Ribovics. We have Terrence McKinney, who's a plus 160 underdog. This is very huge because I've never seen Terrence McKinney as a plus 160 underdog. I've never seen him at a plus 160 underdog his entire career, even against Drew Dober. Eric Gonzalez, he wasn't that big of an underdog. Ismail Bonfim, he lost by KO. He was a dog there too. Actually, he might have been a bigger dog there. And Mike Breeden and Brendan Morata, he's coming off of 2 wins. Esteban Ribovics is he's coming off a decision. Terrence McKinney has a record of 15-6-0. He's won his last 3 out of his last 5, and Ribovics has won his last 4 out of his last 5. 29 years old to 28. Lightweight division 5'10", 5'10", 73-inch reach for McKinney, and 69 for Esteban. This is one of those fights where it doesn't go the distance, but like whoever gets dropped most likely gets finished. And I still have to see more about Ribovics because he's very new to the UFC. But give me Rubovic. Give me Esteban. Give me Esteban Rubovic. I'm gonna keep a close eye on Terrence McKinney. If he keeps on growing as a dog, if I see Terrence McKinney at a plus 180 or 200, I'll gladly take Terrence McKinney. But give me Esteban for now, just because we've seen Terrence McKinney get put out in the past, and if somebody's gonna go out, I love my boy Terrence McKinney, but it might be him. So give me Terrence McKinney. I mean, give me Esteban right now. Give me Esteban right now. But look at Tapology. Tapology has McKinney by KO. Somebody's getting knocked out. Give me Esteban for right now, but I might do a pick flip for Terrence McKinney. I got Esteban Rubovic for right now. Terrence McKinney is a dog. I can't wait for that fight. I might just skip it. I might just skip that fight, bro. Because that fight, I have no idea. Like, this is a stacked St. Louis card. Chase Hooper versus Vyacheslav Borshev. This guy went to a draw against Nazim Sarikov, who a lot of people were expecting Nazim to just run through him, and this guy put up a great fight to the point where it ended up being a draw. And then he beat Masayat Hazer, who we saw, I believe it was 2 weeks ago. Chase the Dream Hooper with a record of 13-3-1. He won his last three and lost and lost two. He lost against Steve Garcia and Steve Peterson. Borashev won his last two and lost two. Well, he won 2 out of the 5. One draw. Plus 150 for Chase Hooper, minus 180 for Borashev. He's from Russia. 24 years old, Chase Hooper. 32 years old for Borashev. Chase Hooper is really young, bro. Lightweight division, 6'1", 5'11", 74, 69. If there's somebody who could put a grappling clinic, it's somebody like Chase Hooper, but I got Borashev just because Borashev, Slava Claus, is very good with his hands. He's very good boxing. He's very good fundamentally with his footwork. And I think he's going to put Chase Hooper to school. I think he's going to work him. But I don't know if he KOs Chase Hooper. I really don't. I like Chase Hooper, man. And I don't want to see him get knocked out. But I think Borashev can get the knockout. But I'm going to go Borashev by decision. I'm going by a dominant performance. Dominant performance for Slava Claus. Even though he doesn't have a lot of dominant performances, give me Slava Claus by decision. A lot of people think he's going to KO him. If you have Hooper by decision. Next fight we have Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Robelis Espana. Excuse me. Cortez Acosta, we gotta talk, bro. What was that performance against Andrei Arlovski, bro? That you were dancing in front of him, you couldn't finish him. You can finish a guy. If you can't finish a guy like Andrei Arlovski and you're, making like your fight IQ is not there and you're dancing in front of him when he's landing a couple of shots, you can't be doing that against Robelis Espana, the big boy. This guy is 5-0, 5 wins out of his last 5. Acosta lost to Marcos Rodrigo de Lima by decision. He's a plus 145 underdog from Dominican Republic. 32 years old, 30. Let's read both of them. He's 32 years old for Costa, 35 for Robelis. 261, the same, 6'4", 6'7", 78-inch reach for Costa, 87-inch reach for Espana. Guys, give me Robelis Espana by knockout, first round. Payback for what you did to Andrei Arlovski. You shouldn't be dancing in front of a legend like that. Robelis, finish him. Give me Robelis by first round KO. Then we open up the main card. Is that opening up the main card too? Yeah, that's opening up the main card. What a banger. That's great fight. Alex Caceres versus Shane Woodson. Alex Caceres, Bruce Leroy Duncan versus Sheen the Sniper Woodson. We have Sheen Woodson who won his last 4 and went to a split decision draw with Luis Saldana, which is actually kind of weird considering how good Sheen Woodson is. But Alex Caceres has lost to Sadiq Yusuf and lost to Giga Chikadze by decision 8 months ago, which is actually kind of crazy because I forgot Giga Chikadze fought. And then he's won against Daniel Pineda, Julian Arosa, and then beat Sung Hoo Choi. Alex Caceres is plus 160 dog, minus 190 for Sheen Woodson, 31 years old, 35, featherweight division, 5'10", 73-inch reach for Caceres, and 6'2", 78-inch reach for Sheen Woodson. I underestimated Sheen Woodson when I saw him fight Charles Jourdain, but that's all I needed to see. All I needed to see was him against Charles Jourdain. He put on a masterful performance against Charles Jourdain. Went to Charles Jourdain. He needed to go back to school with that fight. It's actually crazy how good Shane Woodson looked in that fight, in his performance. So maybe this is recency bias, but give me the guy who's 11-1-1 to win by decision. And I think it's going to be a very clear decision. Maybe he loses the second round, but I think he wins the first and third. Give me Shane Woodson by decision. 29-28 to beat Bruce Leroy Alex Caceres Duncan. I keep on saying Duncan, but it's just Bruce Leroy. Diego Ferreira versus Mateus Rebecki. Diego, the Brazilian Ferreira, with a record of 18-5-0. He has lost his last 3 out of his last 5. And Mateus Rebecki, the prospect, who, with these guys with these weird names, we always consider them a prospect until we really see them. But you can just look at the odds. A lot of people rank him very highly. Mateus Rebecki is 19-1, has won his last 5. This is his technically his 4th fight into the UFC besides Contender Series. He made a great appearance, his debut. Plus 215 for Diego Ferreira, 39 years old, which is pretty old for the lightweight division. 31 years old for Mateus Rebecki, 5'9" 5'7", 74 to 66 inch reach. That's the only thing. Mateus Rebecki's kind of short and has a little bit of short arms, but he's from Poland and he's a grappler, so this guy's like Matus Gamarat. So give me Mateus Rebecki to win by decision. I think he can sneak in a little submission, but I think a guy like Diego Ferreira is not going to let him. So I think a guy like Diego Ferreira, who loses by decision most of the time, well, other than his Mateus Gamarat, he got KO'd, and then he got KO'd by Gregor Gillespie. Yeah, 2 guys who don't have any power at all. You know what? Give me Mateus Rebecki by KO. I'm going to go with Tapology on this one. Let's go. Second round KO. I don't like to go with Tapology, but for this fight, Rebecki, I got him by KO. Just because of Diego's age. It's more on Diego's side than it is on Rebecki. Just Diego's chin is not there. Alonzo Menefield versus Carlos Ulberg. Carlos Ulberg was that guy who is 5-0 in his last 5, but he has lost in the UFC. He's gotten knocked out clean by Makaru in Jikawani or something like that. The guy who lost to Over St. Peru. If we look at his whole record, it's a I don't know how to. I don't want to say that name weird because it's botched. He lost to Nikuchuwani. Kennedy in Jekachu. Kennedy in Jekachu. He lost by KO, and that was bad. That was really bad. And Kennedy is not a guy who KOs people, so we know his chin is to be questioned. But a guy like Alonzo Menefield, who went to draw with Jimmy Crute, then beat Justin Jacoby by decision. The decision merchant, Alonzo Menefield, will not finish Carlos Ulberg. Give me Carlos. Let me break down the whole fight. Plus 170 for Alonzo Menefield. Minus 210 for Ulberg. Auckland, New Zealand. 33 years old for Ulberg. 36 for Alonzo Menefield. Light heavyweight division. 6'0 to 6'4. 76-inch reach for Alonzo Menefield, and 77-inch reach for Carlos Ulberg. Give me the minus 210 as a parlay piece, and give me Carlos Ulberg. I don't know if he KOs him. I think he wins by decision. So give me Carlos Ulberg by decision to win 29-28, maybe 30-27. Carlos Ulberg is going to win by decision. Let's go. Now we go into the co-main event. Joaquin Buckley versus Nascimento Ruziboev. Guys, these names are crazy, bro. Like, my tongue is, like, twisting in half and splitting and, like, opening. It's, like, crazy, bro. Like, goddamn. It's, like, all these tongue twisters. Joaquim Numanza Buckley, who has won his last 3 and lost his last 2 against Chris Curtis and Nassourdine Imavov. Ruziboev has won his last 5. We break down his last fight was against Cedric Dumas by KO 1 month and 4 days ago. I don't know why he's the underdog. I really don't know. Joaquin Buckley is a dog. He's that guy. He's coming into his own. He's a minus 150 favorite. He's that guy who can knock out Ruziboev. He's that guy who can put pressure and go 15 full minutes if you don't KO him. 30 years old. This guy's coming. Oh, it's because he's coming from 85 from middleweight, cutting all the way down to 170. So this is his 170 debut, but he has cut down to 170 before. So 5'10 to 6'5", 76-inch reach, and I think Rozybolov has a longer reach. I'm not sure. Dumas had a longer reach than him, but I think Rozybolov has a longer reach than Buckley. I'm not sure though. Maybe not. Give me Rozybolov by KO. I don't know why he's the underdog. I have no idea why he's the underdog. Give me Rozybolov to knock him out, Buckley. And I know a lot of people are high on Buckley because of his last performances and what he did against Vicente Luque. These guys were both fought a month ago, and now they're fighting on St. Louis card. This is crazy how active these guys are. I love Buckley. He always comes to fight, but give me Rozybolov to knock him out. And give me another dog. I've chosen 3 dogs. We're going to see on Friday if I remain with these dogs. But this is a guy who I have a lot of confidence in. So give me Rozybolov by decision. I love that guy, man. That guy is... Pause. But that guy's a beast. He's always fun to watch. Sorry, man. I got to blow my nose. Next fight. Main event. Derek Lewis versus Nascimento. Rodrigo Nascimento. Derek Lewis. Holy shoot. Look at all the red. Derek Lewis is 1 win and 4 in his last 5. He's lost to Tai Tuivasa, Sergey Pavlovich, Sergey Spivak, and Jalton Almeida by decision, who we saw get knocked out by Curtis Blades. And it's crazy because Derek Lewis knocked out Curtis Blades. It's actually kind of cool. Rock, paper, scissors. Minus 165 for Derek Lewis. Plus 135 for Rodrigo Nascimento. 11-1-0. 31 to 39. 39 years old. It's crazy that Derek Lewis is still in the UFC at 40 years old. Heavyweight division. 6'3 to 6'2. 79 to 80. If we pay attention to all of Derek Lewis's fights, there's nothing in the middle when it's a Derek Lewis fight. It's either a KO or he loses. Nothing in the middle. He will not win by decision. He will not win by submission. It's either he's going to knock you out or he's going to lose. That's it with Derek Lewis. Every time Derek Lewis is a favorite, he loses. Every time Derek Lewis is an underdog, he wins. I think they're serving Derek Lewis a good win because they want him to have a KO win in his hometown, St. Louis. All I'm going to say is against, let me just look back, against, he fought, every time he fights in his hometown, he loses. He fought against, Cyril Gane. Where was this? 285, Lewis versus 265. Lewis versus Gane. Where was this? We're just going to see where this was. Houston, Texas. Oh, okay. Every time he fights in Texas, he loses. This is in his hometown. They're serving him a silver platter plate. Rodrigo Nascimento, who's gotten knocked out by Chris Daukaus, who's gotten knocked out one time, though. I don't know if he's gotten knocked out before that, though. Yeah, his only loss is to Chris Daukaus. It's actually crazy. I don't know. I feel like Nascimento's gonna hold him against the cage, and he's gonna pull it out. I don't know. I can't trust Derek Lewis, guys. I cannot trust Derek Lewis. I like Derek Lewis as a beast. He's a beast. He's very good. I have to see how they look facing off and how much of an advantage Derek Lewis has over him. But I know this is gonna sound crazy. This is gonna sound weird. But give me Rodrigo Nascimento to win and beat Derek Lewis. I just feel like Derek Lewis's time is gone. This will be his 15th KO if he wins. I want Derek Lewis to win. I might do a pick flip on Friday, but give me Rodrigo Nascimento to win this by decision. I just want to see what Tapology and where Tapology's at. They got Lewis by KO. 99.1% of people have Lewis by KO, bro. I don't know. Like, I know Nascimento's not that good, but I have a feeling Rodrigo Nascimento can maybe, do something. Give me Rodrigo Nascimento to win by a boring decision. But if Derek Lewis wins, he's by KO. Come on. He wins by KO or he doesn't. So I might make a pick flip on Friday. Guys, tune in for the weigh-in recap, last-minute predictions. If you like this video, guys, comment your favorite dog, comment your most anticipated fight, and comment your favorite fight of the night. And let me know what you guys thought of UFC 301. Did Usyk sell that last 5th round by shooting a takedown when there's 2 minutes left, and Pantoja has a nice transition, takes his back, and ends up winning the whole fight on one scorecard, 49-46, 48-47, 48-47. Did Usyk lose that fight, And what do you guys think of Pantoja? It's pretty good. But What do you guys think of Joaquin Buckley as well? Guys, like the video. Let's go. I'll see you at the top. Enjoy the fights. The best is blessed, baby. Peace. Let's get it. Yeah. Follow my Twitter too. Let's go.